The incredible lesson revealed. How an employee transformed a millionaire's heart in 30 days. Tyler Jenkins stared at the sprawling mansion before him, its gleaming windows reflecting the golden rays of the sun like a fortress of excess. Just a mechanic, he had heard the whispers, the judgment lingering in the air of Maplewood. But today he stood on the edge of a new chapter, his pride masked by an employer's uniform. To provide for his family, his ailing wife Maria and his awkward teenage son Jake, who was grappling with the tumult of high school, he accepted a temporary janitor position at the estate of Roger Sinclair, a billionaire wrapped in arrogance and isolation. Stepping inside, everything felt surreal, each grand chandelier and marble floor a painful reminder of what he lacked. The emptiness felt suffocating, yet Tyler clung to hope, determined to lift his family from their mounting debts. Each stroke of his cleaning cloth became a silent prayer, a plea for a better tomorrow. He brushed away dirt but couldn't wipe away the weight on his chest. Guilt nagged him as he felt the unrelenting scrutiny from the town. Despite the ostentatious surroundings, Tyler found warmth in small moments. He volunteered at the local community center, helped a neighbor fix a fence, and with every act of kindness, he unknowingly stirred compassion in his community. Around him, people began to reassess their perceptions of value and fortitude. Yet, watching from a distance, Roger remained cloaked in his fortress, reluctant to embrace these fleeting connections. Days passed, and Tyler's resilience continued to shine through the banality of chores. A sparkle emerged in Jake's eyes as he learned from his father's quiet strength. Even Maria, despite her health struggles, found solace in her husband's unwavering devotion. However, this newfound harmony was not without tension. Roger, burdened by his own familial failures, noticed the mechanic's humility starkly contrasted against his own stagnant existence. Yet he couldn't shake the arrogance rooted in his heart. One day, a series of misunderstandings erupted like a storm. With emotions frayed, Roger accused Tyler of theft, the words stinging deeper than any cut. "You think you could ever challenge me?" Roger's voice dripped with disdain. Tyler's heart raced. He fought too hard, too long for his family's dignity. The confrontation unveiled raw truths. Fighting despair and clinging to pride, both men wrestled with their assumptions of one another. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With emotions boiling, Tyler stepped back, wrestling with feelings of worthlessness. Could he still forgive? Meanwhile, Roger faced the unsettling reality of his priorities and the web of his isolated life. As the annual community event approached, where Tyler was set to be honored, tension hung thick between them. Their fragile connection teetered on the brink, unresolved and painful. Would compassion conquer judgment? Could there be a path to redemption, or were their differences too vast to bridge? What will happen next may change everything for both men. The day of the annual community event dawned, the air electric with anticipation. Tyler adjusted his collar, a simple gesture hiding the whirlwind of emotions beneath. He would be honored today, but the thought of facing Roger filled him with dread. The last encounter had left scars, and he still felt the sting of those harsh accusations. Now the weight of expectations buried deep within him made him feel small against the backdrop of the grand event. As he made his way to the town hall, Tyler couldn't shake the memories of the past weeks. Each smile from Jake, every appreciative glance from Maria reminded him why he was pushing forward. They were counting on him. The community buzzed with excitement, decorated stalls adorned with colorful banners and cheerful faces. Yet, in the heart of the festivities, Tyler felt adrift across the way. Roger stood among his peers, a figure almost theatrical in his detachment. He watched the vibrant scene with a frown, arms crossed tightly over his chest. But today there was something different in his eyes. Shadows of uncertainty creased his brow as he observed the joy surrounding him. Even in his wealth, Roger felt an aching hollowness. The pride he wore like armor now seemed cumbersome against the backdrop of this community spirit. As the ceremony began, Tyler's name echoed across the mic, pulling him from his thoughts. He stepped forward, heart hammering with every step. The applause washed over him like a wave, tugging at his spirit. But as he scanned the crowd, his eyes caught Roger's, lingering for one excruciating moment longer than he anticipated. Both men felt the tension. It was palpable, a tether straining between their stories. Tyler Jenkins, the mayor announced with a flourish, has shown us the true meaning of resilience. The crowd erupted into cheers, yet the loudest applause was his family, their beaming faces a balm to his nerves. Tyler took a deep breath, thoughts racing as he gazed at the crowd, the very people who once whispered behind his back. In that moment he realized how far he had actually come. He stepped up to the podium, gripping the edges with a mixture of pride and anxiety. "I'm just a mechanic," he began, his voice steady yet softened by sincerity. "But every day at work, I'm reminded of what really matters: love, compassion, and community." He looked at Jake, who beamed up at him, his heart swelling with pride. "My family taught me that strength isn't about wealth. It's about lifting one another up, no matter the struggle." Roger stood frozen, his mask cracking as the layers of his facade peeled away. The words echoed within him, sparking a flicker of realization. He always thought his riches defined him, but here was this mechanic, a man of purpose, shaking the very foundation of his beliefs. As Tyler concluded his speech, the applause roared anew, drowning out the sudden silence that had fallen over Roger. The billionaire, suddenly aware of something shifting within himself, stepped away from his crowd, retreating deeper into the shadows that surrounded his gilded life. After the ceremony, families gathered, their laughter and warmth enveloping Tyler like a warm hug. Yet in his triumph he felt incomplete. Where was Roger? The man who had cast doubt yet played an unwitting role in his revelation? Had the moment to reconcile passed them both? With the sun dipping low, painting the sky in shades of crimson, Tyler caught sight of Roger alone, retreating toward his mansion. He felt a tug at his heart. Would he dare confront the billionaire once more? Would stepping into the lion's den be the connection they both needed? As Tyler hesitated, the unanswered question loomed heavy in the air: could forgiveness blossom amidst the ashes of accusation? Tyler stood at the edge of the festivities, uncertainty swirling like the last bits of sunlight disappearing into twilight. The adoration of the crowd still echoed in his ears, but his heart raced only at the sight of Roger's retreating figure. Every instinct urged him to stay and revel in the moment with those who loved him, yet the thought of leaving things unresolved nagged at him like a phantom limb. Taking a deep breath, Tyler made his choice. He pushed through the throng of people, the joy surrounding him fading into the background. Each step toward Roger's mansion felt heavier than the last. The pathways were lined with vibrant decorations, balloons bobbing in the gentle evening breeze, laughter ringing out, but Tyler's senses dulled in anticipation of what lay ahead. As he approached Roger's sprawling estate, he hesitated a moment, a flicker of doubt flaring inside him. What if this was a mistake? But then he remembered the sting of those harsh words that had challenged his worth. He couldn't allow fear to dictate his path anymore. Not after everything he had fought through. Knocking on the grand door, Tyler felt the weight of the moment settle over him. It swung open, revealing a neatly pressed maid, surprised to see him. "Mr. Jenkins? Is there something I can help you with?" "I need to speak with Roger," he replied, his voice steady even if his heart raced. "Please wait here," she said, glancing at him curiously before retreating inside. The moment stretched into infinity as Tyler stood on the threshold of a life that seemed galaxies away from his own. The grand chandelier above sparkled like stars, and he absorbed the opulence that surrounded him. Imported artwork, plush carpets, and the faintest scent of expensive cologne wafting on the air. He felt out of place, yet determined. Roger appeared moments later, still wearing the remnants of that earlier frown, his eyes betraying shock at Tyler's presence. "What are you doing here?" The billionaire's voice was low, laced with a hint of confusion. "I came to talk," Tyler said, summoning every ounce of courage he had. "I saw you at the ceremony. I thought maybe, after everything, we could find some common ground." Roger's gaze flickered, a storm behind those icy blue eyes. "Common ground? You think we're the same? We come from utterly different worlds." "Maybe," Tyler replied, taking a step closer, "but I know what it's like to feel alone, even in a crowd. You said some things that hurt me, Roger. But I won't let those words define either of us." For the first time, doubt crossed Roger's face. The walls he'd built began to crack, and Tyler pressed on. I see the way you watch everyone from the sidelines. All that wealth, does it fill the void? Or are you just as lost as I was? Silence hung thick between them, charged with emotion. Roger looked down, the strength of his position faltering as Tyler's words resonated within the hollow chambers of his heart. I don't need your pity, he finally said, but it lacked its usual edge. I'm not here to pity you, Tyler replied, softness creeping into his tone. I'm here to offer you a chance to connect, to heal. We've both been hurt, but we can choose to be better. The struggle flickered in Roger's eyes, and for a fleeting moment, the billionaire looked vulnerable. A crack appeared in his armor. The bravado that once wrapped him in comfort began to slip, revealing the turmoil underneath. What do you want from me? Roger's voice quivered ever so slightly. I want to know you, Tyler said simply. And maybe you could teach me something about business if you're willing. In return, I could help you see what you're missing in your life. As Tyler spoke, the tension between them shifted. In that moment, the questions of their hearts hung unvoiced. Could they truly bridge the chasm that divided their worlds? Tyler stood there, heart pounding, waiting for Roger's response. He could feel hope stirring, dancing on the edge of possibility. But would the billionaire take the leap with him? What was about to unfold could change everything. The silence settled heavily around them, a thick blanket of expectation. Tyler could see Roger processing his words, weighing them like silver on a scale. Just as doubt threatened to pull him under, a flicker of light caught in Roger's eyes. For the first time, he looked less like the high-powered businessman who had dismissed Tyler and more like someone searching for answers. I don't know why I'm even considering this, Roger finally admitted. Frustration etched into his expression. I've never been good at letting anyone in. Just complicates things. But what if complicating things could make them better? Tyler challenged, his voice steady. What if you let someone in and you found out it was worth it? Roger ran a hand through his perfectly styled hair, revealing a strain that lay just beneath his polished surface. He seemed to shrink under the weight of his own facade. I don't know if I can trust you. What do I really know about you? Just that I've fought against the tide for a long time, Tyler replied, an earnestness taking root in his chest. I've fought for something better than where I started. We might be different, but we both have our battles. And I'm not here for your money or your status. I'm here because I believe in what we could create together. Roger's brow furrowed, doubt still hanging in the air. What makes you think I'd want to work with someone like you? Because I genuinely want to understand how you think, Tyler insisted. To learn your world, your perspective. And maybe you could learn something from mine too. A flicker of intrigue sparked in Roger's eyes. What do you think I could learn from you? Tyler offered a warm smile. There was hope trembling at the edges of his heart. Perhaps how to truly connect with people. How to embrace vulnerability. There's more to life than just deals and numbers. For a moment, Tyler dared to imagine. What if Roger let him in? Could the walls between them truly dissolve? Fine, Roger finally said, the words spilling out carefully. I'm willing to hear you out. But what do we do first? Let us start by sharing meals together. One meal each week. We can swap stories. I'll bring my experience, you bring your wisdom. We'll go from there. The billionaire looked contemplative. A meal isn't that serious, but what if it leads me to regret it? I've built my life around a world I know. What if I find out it's useless? Then at least you'll know, Tyler shot back. And maybe you'll find something more meaningful in your life. If nothing else, we'll have a good story to tell. Roger hesitated, then nodded slowly. All right, you're on. But one condition. If this doesn't live up to my expectations, I'll walk away, no hard feelings. Deal. Tyler's relief was palpable, but underneath sprang a current of even deeper hope. They both stood on the precipice of something uncharted, a potential friendship that could ripple through their lives. As they began to discuss possible dinner dates, laughter began to break the ice between them, something that had felt impossible just moments ago. The atmosphere shifted, each shared smile chipping away at the heavy silence that had cloaked them. Tyler was amazed how quickly warmth spread. Yet, as they began to feel the first glimmers of understanding, Tyler felt a nagging worry linger in the back of his mind. Was Roger really ready for this? Could their different worlds truly align? Or would darkness pull them apart again? Together they stepped forward, but was the bond strong enough to withstand the storms ahead? And as they started to carve out their shared journey, it became clear. Their greatest challenges were yet to come. The first meal arrived unceremoniously. A quaint little Italian bistro where the aroma of garlic and fresh bread filled the air. Tyler had been enthusiastic about the place, having visited often during hard days, the ambience always managing to lift his spirits. Roger walked in looking out of place. The casual chatter, the clinking of forks and glasses, it all felt foreign to him. That as they sat down, Tyler immediately sensed the tension in Roger's posture. He was still wearing the armor of a businessman. Crisp shirt, tailored pants, the practiced smile. Tyler wanted to cut through that, to find the man hiding behind the veneer. "Have you ever had homemade pasta?" Tyler asked, trying to pull Roger into the warmth of the moment. Roger shrugged, almost dismissive. "I prefer my meals to be efficient, not distracting," he replied, scanning the menu. "Efficiency has its place, but sometimes you need a little distraction to remind you why you work so hard," Tyler countered, a playful smile dancing on his lips. Roger caught a flicker of genuine amusement in Tyler's eyes. "Life shouldn't just be about work and productivity. You deserve more than that," Tyler pressed. He could see the tension in Roger easing, even if just a little. "What if I don't know how to enjoy something like this? It's just food," Roger muttered. And there was a vulnerability in his voice that sent a jolt through Tyler. Food can be more than just fuel. It's an experience. It's a moment. Look around. These people. They're celebrating life. Tyler gestured toward a table where an elderly couple shared a dessert. Their smiles were wide, as if they were in on some secret joy. Roger studied the couple, his expression softening. It was the shortest of pauses, but Tyler could see the gears turning in Roger's mind. "All right, you're making a compelling case for pasta," Roger finally conceded, peering at the special of the day. As they ordered, Tyler shared snippets of his life, tales of childhood adventures, family gatherings, moments of vulnerability that painted a picture of richness far beyond dollars and cents. Roger listened, occasionally glancing up from his menu, a hint of curiosity in his usually guarded gaze. "You really care about these things, don't you?" Roger asked, the question heavy with surprise. "Of course I do. These are the memories you carry. The laughter, the connection. That's what makes life worthwhile," Tyler replied, his heart swelling with the hope that Roger might just see the same. Dinner flowed freely as they dove into deeper conversations. The initial awkwardness melted away as they spoke of dreams, failures, and the things that made them feel alive. Roger shared tales from his childhood, mostly guarded until now. With every story, Tyler felt the walls begin to crumble, revealing glimpses of a man who had long since buried his dreams beneath layers of expectation. But just as Tyler felt something genuine spark, Roger paused, his expression clouded. "What if I end up regretting this? What if I push myself to feel, only to find it's too late?" Tyler leaned back in his chair, taking a deep breath. "Regret stems from not trying, from clinging too tightly to our fears. What if this is exactly what you need?" Roger's gaze faltered, and for the first time doubt flickered into fear. Would he risk it all? As the meal drew to a close, Tyler sensed a shift. There was a possibility teetering on the edge of their newfound friendship, a chance for Roger to open up, to change in ways he had yet to imagine. "Here's to new beginnings," Tyler raised his glass, his smile bright and hopeful. Roger hesitated but then clinked his glass against Tyler's, a hint of something more than acceptance in his eyes. For just a fleeting moment, it felt like they had forged a real connection. But as they finished their meal, an unsettling thought weighed on Tyler's heart. Could this fragile relationship survive the undeniable truth that lay hidden beneath their exchanged laughter? Would Roger truly allow himself to embrace the risks, or would fear pull him back into darkness? As they stepped out into the night, the air heavy with possibilities, both men knew they stood at a crossroads. The next meal could either reinforce their bond or push them apart. What awaited them in this uncharted territory? The walk back to Tyler's car felt like crossing an unswept bridge, a thin line between uncertainty and curiosity. The sounds of the city enveloped them, laughter spilling from nearby bars, the distant wail of sirens, the rustling of leaves behind them as a gentle wind swept through. Roger's stride was still stiff, but Tyler couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. As they approached the car, he glanced sideways at Roger, who was gazing skyward, the stars twinkling just above them. "Are you all right?" Tyler asked, curiosity bubbling beneath the surface. I'm not sure what to make of tonight," Roger admitted, his voice quieter now, a hint of surprise lacing his words. "Maybe that's a good thing?" Tyler suggested, leaning against the car. "Maybe it means you're starting to see things differently." Roger turned, letting out a soft chuckle that surprised even him. "I usually don't let things affect me this way. I like to think I'm in control. Control can be comforting, but it can also keep you from experiencing life," Tyler replied, hoping to keep the conversation flowing. "What do you mean?" Roger asked, the curiosity in his eyes igniting a spark in Tyler's chest. "Life is a series of experiences. When you hold tightly to control, you can end up missing the wild adventures waiting for you. You know, those little moments that surprise you," Tyler said, gesturing as if to capture the explainable magic they had just experienced. Roger stared at him, the weight of understanding dawning slowly on his features. "It sounds cliché," he said, shaking his head lightly, "but I think I understand. But part of me feels like I'll lose everything if I let go." "The things we fear losing are often the things we need to let go of," Tyler replied, watching Roger study him intently. The other man's grip on reality seemed to loosen just a bit. "And who are you to impart wisdom?" Roger blurted out, but there was no bite, just an inquisitive tone, like he was letting Tyler in, even just a little more. "Just a guy who's seen his fair share of messy living," Tyler grinned. "Life isn't about being right all the time. It's about feeling alive and connecting with others, even if that means letting go of the reins once in a while." Roger's eyes hardened for a moment, instinctively retreating to the fortress he'd built around his heart. But Tyler was undeterred. "What if you're only a few steps away from discovering who you really are? Or perhaps a few steps away from losing everything I've worked for?" Roger shot back, his voice rising slightly, loaded with conflicting emotions. "Maybe. But consider this. What if you gain something even better in the process?" Tyler felt the weight of his words, hoping they landed in the right place. Silence wrapped around them like a thick blanket as Roger processed this new perspective, his brow furrowed deep in thought, caught in the whirlwind of his own turbulent feelings. Finally, he broke the silence. "What's next, Tyler?" "I don't know how to let go. The first step is admitting that you want to," Tyler replied, the vulnerability in Roger's question making his heart ache. It was clear that revealing this part of himself was intimidating, maybe even terrifying. But Tyler sensed a flicker of hope beneath the surface, that a moment stretched between them, full of untapped potential. Would Roger really take that step? As Roger took a deep breath, his shoulders loosening just a bit, a couple passed by. They were laughing freely, their arms wrapped around each other. An ordinary scene, yet Tyler could feel an undeniable shift in the air, almost like a collective sigh of relief. "What if I said yes?" Roger whispered, just loud enough to break the tension. "Then let us see what that feels like." Tyler grinned broadly, his excitement bubbling. The night was still young, and endless possibilities lay ahead. But deep down, Tyler couldn't shake a lingering worry. Would Roger's readiness to explore lead them down a path of healing? Or maybe, would the walls close back in when reality came knocking? He felt the promise of change on the horizon, yet wondered if Roger would risk the pain of the past for the warmth of new beginnings. And just then Tyler's phone buzzed, breaking the moment. The message flashed on the screen, a reminder of everything they were both trying to avoid. "Looks like there's more to explore," he said, glancing over at Roger. "What do you mean?" Roger asked, eyebrows raised. "Let us just say tomorrow could be even more interesting with that." The weight of the moon hung expectantly overhead, and both men faced a new dawn filled with uncertainty and possibility. The next morning came too quickly, sunlight slicing through the blinds and landing straight on Tyler's face. He squinted at the piercing brightness, unsuccessfully attempting to suppress a yawn. Last night had been a revelation, and even as he rolled out of bed, excitement bubbled in his chest. He pulled on a shirt, his mind already racing ahead to the day, unsure of what the next steps might be. Letting go. It felt like both a challenge and a chance, a tightrope walk over an abyss. Glancing at his phone, Tyler sighed. The notification from Roger's message still lingered. What exactly does tomorrow hold? He remembered the doubt in Roger's eyes, the flicker of fear beneath his stoic surface. Could he really be brave enough to push through the discomfort? Tyler grabbed a quick breakfast and headed out. The city buzzed around him, people rushing past like a river flowing, and somehow he felt connected to each one of them. Everyone carried their burdens, their dreams. Maybe that was precisely the point. He arrived at work, but the usual routine felt like a haze. His thoughts kept drifting back to Roger. Tyler had an instinct that something about their conversation could shift the course of Roger's life. And maybe, just maybe, Tyler could also transform a little in the process. Mid-morning, a knock on the open office door broke his reverie. It was Nina, his best friend and coworker. She leaned against the frame, her playful smile brightening the dull space around them. "Hey Earth," to Tyler. "You still with us?" she teased, an eyebrow raised playfully. "Spill. What has got you so distracted today?" Tyler hesitated. Should he open up? But he felt a pull to share. "It's Roger. We talked last night about letting go." Nina's smile faded slightly, her expression shifting to one of genuine interest. "Ah, the mystery man. What about him?" "He's really struggling with taking any risks. I feel like he could change his life if he let go of control, but it's all just so daunting for him. And yet, he asked me what's next." He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm trying to help him, but I'm not really sure how." Nina studied him closely. "Sounds like you're diving deep, my friend. Just remember, change is scary, especially for someone like him. You might have to take the plunge with him." The thought rattled in Tyler's mind. Could he really jump off that metaphorical cliff alongside Roger? They had only just begun to scratch the surface of their connection. What if he pulls back? What if he loses everything? Or what if he finds happiness he never knew was possible? Nina countered, a knowing smile creeping back to her lips. Sometimes finding your way means stumbling a bit first. Just be there for him. Sometimes that's all it takes. Tyler felt the weight of her words settle solidly in his chest. Being there. Maybe he could be the anchor Roger needed, even if it meant navigating uncharted waters. After work, Tyler texted Roger, inviting him for coffee. "Let's chat. I think today could be special." A rush of anticipation filled him, heart racing as he thumbed the message. As he waited, he thought about the unpredictability of life, the beauty hidden in risk. Would drinking coffee lead them to new revelations? Their budding friendship had blossomed overnight, but anxiety still gnawed at the edges. When Roger walked through the coffee shop door, no longer in a stiff posture but with a more relaxed demeanor, it felt like the first burst of spring after a long winter. "Ready for another adventure?" Tyler asked, trying to mask his own nerves with a smile. Roger chuckled, his eyes dancing with cautious interest. "What did you have in mind?" And just like that, they were stepping into the unknown, a leap of faith suspended in the air, both men preparing to see what lay on the other side. But as Tyler watched Roger sip his coffee, a new uncertainty crept in. What if this was just the start of more complicated emotions? What would happen when the layers of their lives began to peel back, revealing not just the joy, but the pain hidden beneath? The possibilities loomed large, and they were on the brink of discovery. "Let us find out," Roger replied, and Tyler could only hope they were ready for whatever awaited them. Tyler felt the subtle heat of the coffee shop, mixed with the warmth of hope blossoming in his chest. As they settled into a corner booth, the smell of freshly brewed coffee swirled around them, a fragrant promise of connection and conversation. "So what's on your mind?" Tyler asked, leaning slightly forward, eager to dive deeper. He had spent the day constructing questions, trying to navigate the shifting landscape of Roger's heart. Roger took a thoughtful sip, his brow furrowing. "I guess after our chat last night, I've been thinking about what it means to let go." He paused, glancing out the window where bustling city figures passed, each lost in their own world. "There's so much I've kept bottled up, you know? It's like I've been living in this cage I built for myself." Tyler felt a twinge of empathy wash over him. He'd seen that cage, the invisible bars that kept Roger from stepping beyond his comfort zone. "It's scary to think about leaving what feels safe," Tyler acknowledged, choosing his words carefully. "But maybe it's time to explore the open spaces, to find what really matters." Roger's eyes flickered with something determination or fear. Tyler couldn't tell. "What if I fall?" he asked, vulnerability slipping into the edges of his voice. "What if you fly?" Tyler countered quickly, a smile creeping across his face. You never know what you're capable of until you take that first step. He could feel the energy shift between them, a crack forming in Roger's self-imposed barriers. Roger chuckled softly, but Tyler could see the tension still curled in his shoulders. You make it sound easy. It's not, Tyler admitted, his expression growing serious. But it's worth it. They were asymmetrically meeting each other halfway. Tyler offering a glimmer of hope while Roger felt anchored by fear. They talked for hours, each topic unspooling like thread from a spool. Tyler learned about Roger's past, the childhood dreams of a boy who had once wanted to be an artist, but felt too much pressure to follow the family legacy of business. He could hear the wistfulness in Roger's voice as he spoke of picturing colors on a canvas, feeling the brush gliding over the surface. What happened to that kid? Tyler asked gently, gauging the shift in Roger's demeanor. He got buried, Roger replied, sorrow clinging to the words. I've always been so focused on succeeding that I forgot what bringing a little joy into my life looks like. What if you could reclaim that joy? Tyler chimed in, his heart racing with excitement. What if we try to do something that scares you? Something that reminds you of that kid? Roger hesitated. Like what? Let us take an art class together, Tyler suggested, a spark igniting in his mind. I'll bring you back to painting. We could dive into exploring that part of you again. Let the brush lead us. The idea filled the air between them like a beacon, vibrant and inviting. You'd really do that? Of course. Life is too short to not paint our own canvases, Tyler replied, a thrill bubbling up inside him. A silence enveloped them, ripe with possibilities. Tyler's pulse quickened as he took in Roger's expression, nervous excitement, battling against hesitation. Okay, Roger said finally, his voice steady. Let us do it. As they finished their coffees, excitement fluttered between them, tangible and electrifying. But within the exhilaration, Tyler sensed an undercurrent of hesitation still tethering Roger. This leap felt monumental, a first step in shedding layers of fear. Yet what came next loomed ominously on the horizon. But what if that leap pulled them both into uncharted territory? It was one thing to embrace their vulnerabilities, another altogether to let deeper feelings unfold. What if the act of rediscovering joy led them to question everything they thought they knew about friendship? The following Saturday they stood in front of an unassuming building tucked away in a quiet part of town, artfully splattered with bright colors. The sign above the door read canvas clay in bold letters, a cheerful invitation. Tyler glanced at Roger, who appeared unsure yet undeniably intrigued. Are you ready? Tyler asked, excitement bubbling in his voice. Roger bit his lip, battling the uncertainty that flickered in his eyes. I don't know if I can do this. Of course you can, Tyler said, placing a reassuring hand on Roger's shoulder. Just remember, it's about exploration, not perfection. He stretched out his arm toward the door. The warm buzz of creativity wafted through like a gentle breeze, coaxing them inside as they entered. The world transformed into a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds. Laughter, distant chatter, and the gentle clink of brushes against ceramic mugs scattered across tables. Vivid paintings hung on the walls, each one telling a story waiting to be uncovered. Tyler felt a wave of energy pulsing through him. Look at all this, he said, waving his arms as if to embrace the space fully. Isn't it amazing? Roger surveyed the room, reluctant to step further. It's a lot, he murmured, glancing at a canvas splattered with wild brush strokes that seemed to speak of freedom. What if I make a mess? Mess is where the magic happens, Tyler encouraged, nudging him forward. It's all part of the process. Gripping the edge of the table, Roger finally moved, his internal struggle evident. He glanced at an empty easel, and the sight sent shivers rippling through him, a mixture of excitement and dread. He wanted to express himself, yet fear threatened to pull him back into silence. They found seats at a small table, and Roger picked up a brush, the weight of it foreign yet inviting in his grip. Tyler sat across from him, an easy grin plastered to his face. Let it flow, buddy. Whatever comes to you, just let it out. With one swift stroke, Roger painted a line across the canvas, his heart racing as if breaking through invisible chains. Each movement felt like an awakening. He looked into Tyler's encouraging eyes, warmth blossoming amid the uncertainty. After a few hesitant strokes, the colors began to blend, revealing the shapes of trees with leaves painted in vibrant hues. Roger felt a smile creep onto his face as he leaned into the flow, with every brushstroke whispering a new possibility. Tyler watched, proud yet intrigued, as Roger lost himself in the moment. Where confidence faltered before, it blossomed now in vibrant greens and yellows. "I didn't think I could," Roger admitted, a hint of wonder coloring his voice. "You can do anything," Tyler replied, his heart swelling. "You're rediscovering that kid you thought you lost." As the trees came to life on the canvas, something in Roger shifted. Somewhere between the colors and the laughter from other tables, he began to let go. Thoughts unraveling like ribbons, he questioned the barriers he had built. Would painting unleash not just art, but something deeper? Hours drifted by like clouds in the sky, and as the class ended, Roger stood before his creation, a shield and emblem of his newfound courage. The canvas, loaded with color, reflected everything he had tucked away for so long. "Look at that!" Tyler exclaimed, beaming. "It's beautiful just like you." But Roger felt the flutter of uncertainty begin again. This time buried beneath a thrill of something more. "Do you really think it's enough? I mean, for an exhibition or something?" Tyler's expression changed, curiosity igniting in his eyes. "An exhibition? Now that's a thought. The idea feels so big," Roger said, excitement creeping into his voice. "Let us chase it then." Tyler's exuberance sent a jolt of adrenaline through Roger. Could he really? Could this be the beginning of something that tore down not just walls but also expectations? In that vibrant art studio, as uncertainty danced alongside joy, Tyler noticed a flicker of something greater in Roger. Something beautiful and transformative, but was it just the colors, or was it their connection deepening? What if this exploration led them to unveil more than just art? What if it revealed a deeper connection, changing everything they thought they knew about friendship or love? The sun began to set, drenching the sky in golds and purples as they left the art studio, the vibrant canvas still fresh in their minds. Roger stood tall, his heart lighter than it had felt in years. "I can't believe I painted that. Feels alive." There was an undeniable glow in his eyes, a spark ignited by the simple act of letting go. "See, you've got it in you." Tyler grinned, feeling inspiration radiate from them both. "We can build on this." He knew this moment was pivotal, a stepping stone toward something bigger, something more meaningful. As they walked through the park, laughter still echoing from their art session, the world felt different. Colors seemed brighter. Hopes felt closer. Roger glanced at Tyler, who was animatedly detailing their next plans, perhaps more art classes, even a small exhibition. Every word spilled with enthusiasm. "Do you really think it's possible?" Roger asked, an edge of apprehension creeping back in. "That my art could mean something to someone else? Why not?" Tyler shrugged, his sincerity palpable. "Art connects. Your heart is in those strokes. When you pour your soul into something, when it resonates. People crave authenticity." Roger paused, a hand resting on the edge of a nearby bench. For a fleeting second, he let himself imagine an exhibition displaying his work, people admiring pieces of his vulnerability and dreams. "Sounds incredible, but what if it fails? Then you'll know. You took the step," Tyler replied, sincere understanding bridging the gap they crossed together. "Failure is just a part of the journey." Breath-catching, Roger took in the weight of Tyler's words. This man, this mechanic turned janitor, had completely shifted his worldview over the past few weeks. "You really believe in me, don't you?" "Always," Tyler affirmed, placing a comforting hand on his friend's shoulder. "You're not just a businessman. You're an artist with dreams. Let us make it happen." That night, their conversation lingered in the air, and the thought of planning an exhibition began morphing from a distant fantasy to a stirring possibility. They spent hours discussing ideas over dinner, mapping out what it would look like, who they'd invite, and where they'd showcase the pieces. Laughter merged with excitement, creating a hopeful symphony resounding between them. Weeks passed, each day filled with painting preparations and shared moments that deepened their friendship. Tyler watched as Roger's confidence blossomed, his brushstrokes becoming bolder, colors richer. It was a breathtaking transformation. Roger was reconnecting with pieces of himself he had long buried under wealth and expectation. As the exhibition date drew near, Tyler could sense the nerves rippling through Roger. "What if nobody comes? What if they don't like my work?" "Those fears are normal," Tyler assured, his own heart racing just thinking of the opening. But remember why you started. This isn't just about validation. It's about sharing your story. Standing shoulder to shoulder in the gallery space filled with warm lights and white walls, Roger peered at his pieces, each canvas, a testament to his journey. The night of the exhibition arrived. A rush of energy enlightened the air, friends, family, and familiar faces mingling around. Tyler's presence eased his tension, a calming anchor amidst the whirlwind. But when the doors opened, and the first guests trickled in, Roger's heart raced. The evening unfolded like a well-rehearsed play. Guests walked through, their whispered compliments uplifting him. Tyler watched from the sidelines, pride swelling in his heart. Then it happened. A small group of art critics stood before Roger, eyes intently studying his work. Roger swallowed hard, each bead of sweat on his brow feeling like a weight. What if they hate it? He whispered to Tyler, panic reaching a crescendo. Just breathe, Tyler responded soothingly. You've poured your soul into this. Regardless of their opinions, this is about your journey. And in that moment, Roger took a deep breath, a deep commit to himself. He stepped forward and introduced himself, heart racing but courage found in leaning against the bonds they had created. As the night wore on, Roger realized that it wasn't the accolades or praise that filled his heart. It was the connections he made. People shared how the colors spoke to them, how the emotions he had captured resonated with their stories. He recognized that his courage to let go had opened a door not just for him, but for those who stood viewing his art. Tyler stood nearby, a supporting pillar with his radiant smile. It didn't matter that Roger had been the billionaire. What mattered was they had found themselves in each other, a reminder that true wealth flows not from money, but from authenticity, vulnerability, and connection. As the night wound down and friends gathered to express admiration, Roger looked at Tyler. Thank you for being here through all of this. I couldn't have done it without you. Tyler's smile was infectious. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's about time you found your rhythm. The night dimmed toward a soft glow, and as the last guest trickled out, a new understanding filled the air between them, a deeper friendship forged through vulnerabilities and struggles. Shall we celebrate? Roger asked, the warmth in his smile echoing the joy of newfound freedom. Yes, but there is something else we need to discuss, Tyler teased, brushing off the excited moment. I think we should plan the next art class. And just like that, the journey wasn't over. They both knew that while the future held uncertainties, the real treasure lay in the connection they had nurtured, a bond that transformed both of their hearts. In that moment, amid laughter and excitement, Tyler felt alive. And Roger, more than just a millionaire, now a friend, an artist, a man rediscovering his heart. As they walked away side by side, amidst the echo of laughter, another adventure awaited just around the corner. And for you, dear viewer, the journey of connection, courage, and transformation doesn't need to end here. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of backing this journey through these actions.